It's Sunday afternoon Bible story time, and I'm so glad to be here. My name is Chesley. Here's Karen.
Yes, Chesley, we are so happy to be here.
You know, I tell you what, I got a good story. I got to sing the theme song.
I know you've got a great story, Chesley. We've been reading this, and it's from the book of Daniel, chapter 6.
Oh, the thirst. You want to hear me sing? This gospel train is chugging at the track. Chugging at the track, it's chugging at the track. This gospel train is chugging at the track. Chugging to the glory land. Gonna see Jesus, yes I am, yes I am, yes I am. Gonna see Jesus, yes I am, yes I am.
Chesley, yes, we have a wonderful place called heaven, the glory land, and that's where we want to go and be with Jesus and love him and serve him. We serve him here, and then
anyone can go that wants to love him.
Anyone that wants to go and love him and serve him, and we look forward to being there with him and just all the time worshiping him.
That I'm just a wooden guy, so it won't be me.
I know you're just a wooden guy, but while we're here, you can help me,
and I can help you, and you're the voice of me.
That's right, that's it. So we work together, and we get the job done. So Chesley, the name of our story today
is Bye Bye Lion's Den.
Yes, that's right. Bye-bye, Lion's Den.
Oh, I tell you what, this going to be kind of scary.
Well, Chesley, it may be kind of scary, but I tell you what, we're learning about,
I know what it is. We're just being encouraged.
Having courage and confidence in God,
and loving him, and he's there with you.
He's there, that's right, he's there with us, whatever situations that we're in.
And sometimes you don't feel like it.
That's right, Chesley, sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but we know the Lord is with us.
And we have faith and trust and confidence.
Faith, trust, and confidence. Now, Chesley, in our story today, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego,
what's crazy names is that?
Well, Chesley, they were from other countries, and they weren't crazy names. It was just unusual for us.
And so they was good guys too?
Yes, they were good guys too. They loved the Lord, and they were stayed so faithful. And so the king wanted to make them to be like everybody else.
They was like, they loved the Lord.
They loved the Lord, and they were been taken captive. But they didn't say, well, we'll just be like these people while we're here.
Yeah, I know what they did. They wanted to be like God's people.
Be like God's people. And that's what they knew. God had chosen them. And for such a time as this, wherever they were, they knew they belonged to God.
And so they were going to be like him.
That's right. They were going to be like him. So now we don't know where Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego are at this time. They might even be anywhere around. But it was Daniel they were after.
I know why. Because, the king, he really liked him.
You know what? The king noticed of all these people that I have, there's something about my leaders here. This man, Daniel.
I know what it is. He is a servant of the one true God. And he's really tuned in.
He was tuned in with the Lord. He just loved the Lord and served him, and every day.
I don't know how many times a day. Is it 3 times a day?
That's what it was, 3 times a day. He would open his windows, and he would look down toward Jerusalem, and he would begin.
And that's where he wished he was.
That is exactly. That's it. That's where he wished he was. And so, but he would pray to the one true God,
and he was loving and serving.
He did the right thing, even though he was not where he really wanted to be. Well, the king noticed that.
No, he's my kind of guy.
He said there's something about him. He said he is just different than any of the others.
I know what it is. It's the spirit of the one true God.
That's right. It was the spirit of the one true God was working in his life. And he was just different.
Now, I think he was good and kind, and he obeyed, and he didn't lie, steal, and cheat.
That's right. He didn't lie, steal, and cheat.
And he wasn't hateful.
He wasn't hateful. I think he had a good attitude.
Because he was being like God.
That's right. He was being like God,
and he was a good example.
He was a good example. But you know what? These others around him, he was one of the 3 top guys that the king had chosen. And the king noticed, this man Daniel is my God. Well, the other 2 got jealous.
Oh, I tell you what, jealousy is just mean and cruel.
It is mean and cruel. So what they did, they said, we don't like this guy.
Yeah, let's find some way to getting into trouble.
That Chesley is exactly what they had in mind. We want to get him in trouble. What can we do? And they said, well, it can't be anything about his God.
Yeah, because he's so faithful and true. So they said, what else can we do? And they were thinking of something evil.
Yes, Chesley, they thought of something
evil. Really evil.
They did. It was so evil. In fact, what he decided to do, they said, you know what? We're going to go to the king and we're going to say, we want you to make a law that nobody can ask a petition of anybody. They can't pray to anybody except you for 30 days.
No, that is just evil. There is no way that Daniel is going to pray to the king.
Daniel is not going to pray to the king. Now, he respects the king because he's the leader, and that he isn't going to worship him. No, that's right. He's not going to worship him. He's going to worship the one true God just like he always has. So now he's in a fix.
No, you know what? He's going to make a choice.
He has got to make a choice. First the king, though, when he knew, Daniel knew what was up. He knew, and when the king looked at this, and he never even thought, he was just thinking, oh, how good it made him.
I think he got kind of proud.
I think he got kind of proud, too. I think that. And he just said, that stuff will get you. Pride will get you. And so here he was thinking, oh, they're not going to pray to anybody but me.
They should just pray to the one true God.
But, Chesley, was a moment he got taken in by pride, and so...
And they said, sign it, sign it.
That's what they said. Sign it, sign it, sign it right now. You got to sign it.
I said for 30 days.
For 30 days, nobody could pray to anybody but the king. Well, you know what, Daniel, when he found out that had been signed,
he said, I'm going to have to go close my windows.
Nope. He always opened his windows and prayed toward Jerusalem. He prayed to the one true God, loved him and served him. And so he's going to get in trouble. He better close the windows. But Chesley, he decided he was just going to do what he always did. He was going to put his faith and trust in God.
And you know what I think he was saying? He wasn't ashamed.
He wasn't ashamed, and whatever the consequences were, that's what he was okay with. But he was not going to close those windows.
He could have prayed in secret.
He could have prayed in secret, but he didn't. He wasn't ashamed of God.
And here he goes and he begins to pray. And you know what's going to happen? I can tell you right now.
What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to be listening? That's exactly what they're doing. They're under his window. That's Chesley, they were. The Bible says there they were. They were right under his window. And they heard him pray.
No, goody, goody. They're going to get tattletale.
That's what they did. They went to the king and they said, King, guess what? Said, now you remember you signed that saying nobody could pray to anybody but you for 30 days. They couldn't ask any petitions of anybody but you.
And he said, well, that's sure what I signed.
And he said, you know what? I said, it can't be changed. And he said, okay. But then they went and said,
well, Daniel's did try.
And then he knew it was a trap. When they said, well, Daniel's been praying to his one true God.
Oh, and the king knew it was a trap. They did it because they hated Daniel. Oh, he wanted to cry.
Chesley, I don't know if he wanted to cry.
I think he did. I think he was sad.
Chesley, I think he was sad.
It makes me want to cry. It was so mean and hateful.
It was mean and hateful. But you know what? Daniel didn't change his mind. He was going to be faithful. But the king said he wanted to try to find a way to get around it because he said, but Daniel, it's different.
No, he said, oh, no, it's not. You signed the law and you had to get rid of him.
They wanted to get rid of him. That's what they said. We got to get rid of this guy. And the king realized it.
I know what it was. I know what they said. They said the law can't be changed.
Because the law of the Medes and Persians was that it couldn't be changed. Oh, I tell you what. The king just felt so horrible because
he loved Daniel, and now he had to order him to be thrown in the lion's den.
That was what the verdict was. It actually said on there that if you prayed to anyone besides the king for 30 days, if you did that, you would be thrown into the lion's den with hungry lions.
Oh, it's just so awful, and Daniel knew that.
Daniel knew that, but he wasn't ashamed of God, and he had faith and trust in God.
And what did God do? Was he want to take him to heaven?
Well, if God just wanted him to go to heaven, he was all right with that too. But he was not going to be ashamed of the Lord. So Daniel, he was thrown into the lion's den, and the king, he couldn't sleep all night. And,
he was so worried. And, he said Daniel's being crunched up.
That's what he thought. Daniel's being crunched up. He probably had nightmares, maybe of hearing bones crunching. It was just,
those little hungry lions eating it and all.
But that's not what was happening. What he didn't, I tell you, Finally the king went down as soon as it was daybreak.
He went running down there, and he said, "Oh, I dread seeing you." Said, "Daniel, Daniel, is there a chance?"
And about that time he heard Daniel say, "Oh, king, live forever."
Oh, it's not this handsome. It's a miracle.
It was a miracle. Yes, it was. And Daniel said, "Oh, king, live forever. The Lord has sent his angel
And shut the lion's mouth, and I am safe. Nothing is harm come to me.
No harm has come to me." Oh, I mean, the king commanded that they would open up, that they go down, they get Daniel out of there.
Who's going to go?
With Chesley, I don't know who went. I don't know how they did it, but
I think they threw in a rope.
I don't know if they threw him a rope or what, but they pulled Daniel out.
And what about those guys that lied on him and was mean?
The guys that lied on him and said all kinds of wicked things about him, the king said, "I'll have none of this." He had no use for those guys. What he said was that they were going to be in the lion's den.
And what is our scripture today?
Well, our scripture today is from Daniel chapter 6, but let's look at verse 22. This is what David said, or what Daniel said. "My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, and they have not harmed me, inasmuch as I was found innocent before him, before God, and also toward you, O king. I've not committed a crime."
And the king said, "And I know you didn't, and those guys are the cheaters, and I mean they've committed the crimes."
And so they're the ones then that were thrown into the lion's den. And immediately,
I think then what happened? Did angels come?
no, there was no angels. But because of what they did, the crime they committed, what happened was the lions ate those guys. It was an awful thing. But Chesley, you know what? I like the King Darius. Here's what he said about, you listen to what he said because of Daniel's stand for God and being true. Here's what he said. He said, let's read it now. Then Darius the king wrote to all the peoples, nations, and men of every language who was living in all the land, "May your peace abound. I make a decree that in all the dominion of my kingdom, men are to fear and tremble before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God and enduring forever. And his kingdom is one which will not be destroyed, and his kingdom will be forever. He delivers and rescues
and performs signs and wonders in heaven and on earth, who has also delivered Daniel from the power of the lions."
That's what he said. Listen to this, because now Daniel had a great testimony.
And now all the people, they found out it was like he preached a sermon.
It was like he preached a sermon, really, by living the life that he did.
And so what had to do with that king?
Well, the king had an opportunity here that he said he believed that they should all love this one true God and serve him. So, Chesley, it was all because one man took a stand.
And it was the lion's den in 3.
Today is Independence, or tomorrow is Independence Day. That we celebrate the 4th of July, Independence Day. We celebrate in the United States of America. But I was thinking about this. It was bye-bye Lions Den.
And it was Independence Day for him.
It was Independence Day for him, Chesley. A great victory that day. And right now, that you could told this story, it's a great victory.
And what are you getting around to? Or do I want to hear it?
Well, Chesley, it's time for you to go to bed. Because we have a birthday party to go to. Our pastor's wife has a birthday coming up, and we're going to celebrate it. And so I need to send you to bed.
No, I got another idea.
Well, what's your idea? I already guessed what it is.
Yeah, I want to go to the party.
Jesse, you're not going to the party. Tell everybody goodbye, and you'll see them next week.
I love you very much, and I sure wish I'd go to the party, but they don't let me in.
Chesley, you need to go to bed. We'll see you next Sunday afternoon, the Lord willing. We love you. Thank you for being with us today.
And I'm on YouTube and Rumble.
That's right. We're on YouTube and Rumble. We put all these on YouTube and Rumble. And so that will be later on today. We'll get that done. But they're always here on Facebook. You can see those anytime. We do have a page called this one, Wholesome Communication, is where Chesley is. And then also we have one called Silver Citizen Believers Brigade. That's where we do a program called
Kneading Bread for the Master.
Kneading Bread for the Master. That's where I knead bread while I give a devotion. And then the church page for the church we attend, Elgin First Assembly of God. That's where we also put these. We also will share this video today to that. Okay, so you have a great time sleeping.
Yeah, what fun is that?
Oh, Chesley, it is nice. We'll see. Just be thinking about next week you get to be here. So, Chesley.
Good day, and I sure do love you, and I'm glad I got to be here. Bye-bye.
Yes, that's a good way to end it, Chesley.